What Genesis 5 is something called a genealogy. Now, I'm going to start off the year right here, confession time. Those who read through, who skipped Genesis chapter 5? Liars, all right? No, you read every one of these names. It's basically a list of names you cannot pronounce. It's a list of names, you guys, you really don't know. So you're like, I got to confess, I skipped it. But then I realized I better not do that. I'm the pastor. I better read through every one of these names and look at this. Genesis chapter 5. And as I skipped it, as I went back, I realized, wait a second. This is the perfect place to begin our journey of history, being his story. You see, if you're like me, the genealogies, you really wonder all right, God, I believe you are the author of this book. In fact, John says if everything was written down, it would cover the whole world with books of all that took place of God working in the lives of men. So if you chose this book, and this is the book that made the editor's cut, out of all the other books, all the things that can be written, you chose to write a genealogy? Boring. Depressing. I mean, you read it. He lived, he died. He lived, he died. He lived, he died. He lived, he died. It's like walking through a graveyard. Okay, he lived, he died. I get it. What's the deal? Why so important? How are you telling your story here? Oh, that's where we got to get the magnifying glass, the zoom lens, and find out God telling his story. Again, we see there's no greater place where he tells his story, the ultimate story that was going to happen with his son. Well, if you were there at this, or if you were reading this and you went through, you see a list of names. It's a genealogy. Now, at this point, I'm giving you permission to write in your Bibles. All right, New Year resolution, it's okay. It's not sacrilegious. It's a good thing. Write in your Bible, circle it, and you can write this little thing. If not, we'll have this online because I need to go very quickly. But I'm going to read through the name, and I'm going to read what his name meant. So Adam was the first guy. God named him. His name will be called Adam. His name means simply man. So if you're there, just write the word man next to Adam's. The next one, grab my little cheat sheet here. Here it is. So the second name is Seth. So if you circle the word Seth, again, you say, what about Cain and Abel? Well, maybe you read their story. One was murdered, and then the other one was exiled. So they were skipped in this genealogy. The next one is Seth. His name means appointed. The next guy up, Enosh, which means mortal. Next word, Canaan, which means sorrowful. Then Mahael, it's a good name, good baby book right here. Mahael, which means the blessed of God. The next guy, Jared, that's a common name. His name means shall come down. Enoch, his name means preaching or teaching. Methuselah, his name means his death shall bring. Lamech, his name means despairing. And Noah, his name means rest in comfort. So God, throughout time, all these guys, well, let's name him Seth. I think we'll name him Jared. And they're thinking they're completely, in control, naming their kids. Little did they know, God was writing a story. Here it is. All this whole genealogy, Genesis chapter 5, reads this way, put together. Man is appointed, mortal, sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down, teaching that his death shall bring despairing, but yet rest in comfort. That's no other than the story of Jesus Christ through the genealogy. His story is his story.